missing, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Running like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to Who Dat Nation. We appreciate you guys being in this live stream. Big ups to the fam. Hit the like button for your boy. We up in this thing. Shout out to the great Saint think tank and the Who Dat Nation, man. We up in this thing. What day is it? Wednesday? It's Wednesday, fam. All right. Good to see y'all. Hump day is at an end as we are cruising into the next level of the week. And listen, it's Thursday followed by Friday tomorrow, and the day after that, and we keep cruising on through. But anyway, you know what the name of this one is, family. As you see it up on the screen, GM Mickey Loomis wants to wait a week to address the Who Dats. As you see, this is a tweet put out by Jeff Duncan. We'll cover it momentarily, and I got a little. We're gonna go ahead and play some of this interview from Mickey Loomis as well. We're gonna cover that live time. If y'all didn't hear this interview, we'll play some of that here on the show. So before I get into that, let me ask the family members to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Shout out to Mason Watson, Gladys Benoit, Frederick Crosby, and several others watching the stream directly from Facebook. Do me a favor, family. If y'all watching on Facebook, give it a like. Also share it on your social media feed on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you socialize. Bring the coma with you. For my family on YouTube, feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also feel free to share the YouTube link on your social media feed. We're going to cover some Mickey Loomis talk. Today we got an interview that we're going to play with his thoughts on the season. We're going to go over that. So shout out to the Who Dats, King Morrison, Robert Clark, Eric Howard, Snake Bite, Rusty Lambert, Elite, Daniel Williams. Shout out brother Torrey Shepard Sr. What's up, Torrey? B-Rock. Who else we got? OG Jerry Poor in the building as well. Ferg 318, Louisiana man, Joe Wiley, Derek Powell. Shout out to you, brother Ant-Man. Shout out to you as well. Good to see you. Shedrick is in the building as well. Shout out to my boy Shedrick. Good to see you, fam. Nate Frog in the building as well. Good to see you. Josh Goat 23 is in the building. New Orleans native. BP Johnson and the whole family member. Shout out to you. Saints for life. Who that to you? Good to see all y'all up in this. All right. Shout out to Rios too, man. Me too. All right. So shout out to everybody, man. Appreciate y'all being up in this thing. Much love. All right, AK Enthusiast, shout out to you, fam. Much love to you. Brother Ramsey, shout out to you. Tragic 504, much love to the entire family. Yeah, well, you know, we're gonna talk about some Mickey today. Yeah. But anyway, Mickey's the top dog in terms of the decision makers at the Saints organization. This is a tweet that Duncan pretty much shared with the Who Dat Nation about a recent weekly radio show that Mickey Loomis does via WWL Radio. We're gonna cover that. With Mike Hoss. Saints general manager Mickey Loomis said on his weekly radio show last night that he wants to wait a week to let the emotion of the season dissipate before making evaluations of the roster with fellow Saints brain trust. So I wouldn't expect any major news out of Saints camp this week. Didn't I tell y'all that? Didn't I tell you that? I told y'all that. I told y'all I know these people, man. They are super transparent. I told you that he don't want that smoke. Talking about waiting for the smoke, the emotions of the season to dissipate. Who has greater emotions tied to this thing than the Who Dat Nation, of the expectations that this season had. And you have to face that. You don't wait a week talking about, well, I'm gonna just wait a week to wait for it to dissipate. No, that's telling you don't want that smoke. Because you know what that means. If you get up there, you're gonna get the absolute full blast of the Who Dat Nation's disgust, because the people been telling you this in phone calls, been calling up there. I done call up there and sent emails to these people when you're out, they out and about, people telling them, they on these radio shows, people telling them, they put on this stuff on their YouTube page, they got all up and down the comment section, they know about all of this and totally ignored all what you had to say. But don't worry, keep the pressure on. Just because a week won't allow us, a week won't make me not have any more disgust, or least disgust than what I have now. I can save it for next week. You ain't missing no smoke doing this, just to let you know, Mickey. You're not missing no smoke. What you doing is you don't want the full blast of what the Who Dat Nation gonna give you because you failed. And that's an accountability thing. You don't keep the same energy that you had earlier this year when you were standing up there speaking all this stuff about Dennis Allen. Keep that same energy. Don't sit up here and change it up now and talk about waiting for a week or so for the energy to dissipate so you can be less upset with them because they failed. And the fact that he's still keeping Dennis Allen on top of his team. That's what kind of smoke he's going to get. So it won't work, bro, just to let you know. Oh crap. I thought it would work, Q. Oh, no, it's not, Mickey. It's not going to work. People are not going to be less disgusted with you than what they are now. It is a huge disappointment what's going on in the Who Dat Nation. And guess what? The secret's out. They know that the only reason you keeping Dennis Allen is not because of some loyalty. We know that don't exist in them circles. What's going on is that you don't want to get rid of the money, come up with the money to fire him and then hire a more credible coach. See, that's too much money that we spending out. So we're going to hold on to your love. We're going to hold on to him right now until all of that changes. Thank you, Jerome. Shout out to you, bro, for becoming a member, a Pro Omega B Star. Much love to you, brother Jerome. Shout out to you. Thank you for that, bro. Much love. Like I said, listen, this is what it is, family. Read it, Biggest Cup. The emotion of the season to dissipate. Who got the emotion? Obviously not him. He ain't mad enough to fire Dennis Allen and make some changes, right? He's not mad enough to do that. So whose emotion is waiting is yours. It's yours. It won't work, bro. It won't work. It won't work. All feather sticks, all fiddly sticks. I thought it would work, Q. No, it's not gonna work. All fiddly sticks. I thought it was going to work. No, it's not. All right. So anyway, fam. That, and let me get this. Jeff Duncan also put this on his tweet. He been Duncan putting in a little work there. So shout out to Jeff Duncan. He put up here about Sean Payton. Here, let me see, what is it? Let me get off of that. Hold on. Let me see if I can back up off of that thing. Yeah, he also talked about Sean Payton here. Oh yeah, there it is. With the Arizona Cardinals have received permission to speak to Coach Payton. That's also news that he shared, that Coach Payton, the Saints have issued permission to the Cardinals to talk to Sean Payton as well. So, so here it is right here. The Arizona Cardinals have received permission to speak with Saints coach Sean Payton. Sources say, and they plot out their coaching search. One of the more coveted coaches available, Payton, also has an interview looming with the Broncos. Remember, nothing can get the shaking and popping until the 17th of this month. Thank you, Vilma Cooley. Thank you, fam, for becoming a Pro Star One. Much love to you, Vilma, and thank you, Jerome, as well, for becoming members of the show. Oh, fiddly sticks. I thought I was going to fool the Who Dat Nation. No, you might fool some of the fans of the Who Dat Nation, but you will not fool the Great Saint Think Tank. They got brains. They can see the stuff, and that's all. They got brains, and guess what? Some brains and a memory, because that's all you really need with all of the BS they like to shovel at us. But anyway, let's get into it, fam. We're going to play this interview right here about what's going on with Mickey Loomis. Y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear me. Thank you for our newest family members that hit that the join button to become members of the stream. Much love to y'all. Also, once again, feel free to hit the like button, family, as we get cruising up in this thing. Here's the interview. Put one in the chat.
The way things played out from training camp, it's just disappointing. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Well, I think coming out of training camp, I think what I would say is that we all had, and by all I mean coaches, players, the front office. I think we all had a quiet confidence about the quality of our team, and I felt that, and we all felt that. And so, to not have that come to fruition, to not make the playoffs, to not win the division, is disappointing.
So now the evaluations begin, typical of every year. Is there a hierarchy, an order, coaches, players, staff? I mean, how does it work with yourself and Dennis Allen, as well as Dennis Lauscha and Mrs. Benson?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I always like to take a little bit of a break here and let the emotion of the season dissipate, so that we can make view it from a lens that is a step back, and so we'll kind of step back this week and then get into those evaluations that you're talking about next week, and eventually formulate our plan for this off season.
Okay, so man, do y'all guys get the feeling that Coach Payton made these guys look better than they actually were? I was thinking about that. I was going over that, and I'm like, formulating a plan for the offseason, which means the Saints don't have a plan right now, which basically kind of confirms what I was saying in previous streams, that they feel like they're flying by the seat of their pants right now. We waiting for the emotions. This is business, man. What emotions got to do with it if you running a business over there? You're running a business here. I thought it was a business. I mean, they damn sure give us the business. When we go up in the Superdome, have to pay for $12, $13 nachos with $2 or $3 cheese, $8 a pop, and so on and so forth. They definitely give us the business. $25 to park, and then and 20 with every $25 parking ticket you get you get your car vandalized. How about that? They definitely giving us the business. So what does emotion got to do with it? From the Who Dat Nations, they're upset because you let them down. Because you built them up and told them, man, we're going to win. We're trying to play for Super Bowls here, Q. We're going to play. Listen, I'm going to do everything I can in my power. Fix this. Starting the season off. What is, so it just seems like Coach Payton made a lot of these people look a hell of a lot better than they actually are. Because when you seen the season tank, I knew two weeks before the season ended, as it was crashing down when you was on the 3-game winning streak, we knew that wasn't sustainable, because the Saints are still the most penalized and most penalty-ridden team in the NFL. That's discipline. And a culture has to be built on that discipline. Dennis Allen's not a disciplined coach. That's why this team, most teams, that whatever team he takes over, even if it's a playground team, is not going to have success, because he has to command a certain amount of discipline from his players that he simply don't have. And even if he does it good one day, he doesn't have the consistent ability to do it from game to game. And that's how things are sustained. Plus the accountability edge, if guys step out of the discipline principles and need to be penalized for hurting the team, then there's that. He don't have that either. And he doesn't have consistency to keep those principles in place. So, I mean, he's not the right coach because he lacks those core things, among other things, communication, backstabby ways, all this kind of stuff. And Mickey Loomis can't see that. He can't see who this man is, and you're staring him right in the face, What does emotion got to do with this, Mickey? Come out with the business plan. Tell us what you're going to do. And really what it is, like I said, and I told y'all guys this a couple of shows ago, I said the Saints are not going to come out and talk to you right away. They're going to hide a bit. I told y'all that. Didn't I tell y'all? Put one in the chat if y'all remember me telling y'all that this team, you might not see him come out until a week from now. That was before this interview came out. I was telling them, I said, this team, because it fits everything that the Saints have been doing. They're totally unaccountable from the top down. So Dennis Allen's not the genesis of not being able to be accountable. Obviously, it fits with Mickey. I knew he was not accountable when he let Jameis Winston go to the press. I know Jameis had to have gone to Mickey Loomis and told him, hey, Mickey, man, hey, Mickey, Dennis Allen over here tripping, man. Oh, really? What's going on, Jameis? Well, listen, man, he over here tripping, man. I'm healthy enough, the doctors say, you dig, that I'm ready to play, right? But Dennis Allen over there talking about he going to keep Andy Dalton in the game. The doctor said I'm as healthy as I can get. I can suit up and everything. Jameis, listen. Dennis is the coach of the team. And whatever decisions he make, I'm going to ride with him, So I'm going to just tell you just like this, go talk to Dennis. And that's what happened. So Dennis went to the press. You can't tell me that, Jameis, you can't tell me that Jameis Winston just went straight to the press. He had a conversation with Mickey Loomis and then went straight to the press. You mean to tell me Jameis didn't go talk to the general manager who's above the coach so that the $20 million quarterback and the coach can be on the same page to fix it? He couldn't do that. Mickey failed big time with that move. And when I seen that, I was like, man, what you doing, bro? You don't let your $20 million quarterback and your head coach come to odds. Now that happens, but it's up to him to fix it. He did the entire wrong thing the entire season. He ain't put no pressure on this man. Now it's all about let the emotions dissipate. Let the emotions dissipate, which translate into from the street. Let me translate it like my set back in the day when you had Officer Swinehauser and Hoppy from Sanford and Son, and they'll be talking, well, you got a 211 on the 455 and the 754, and he had to confound on the 721, and then Fred will turn to Smitty and he'll say, the dude tried to break in your car. We arrested him. He in jail. You need to come down and look at the lineup to pick him out. So let me act as a translator there. And what that is saying is that then this is a non-accountability, that he don't want to deal with the full smoke of the Who Dat Nation right now. He thinking a week will work in dissipation. And he even said that they got to work on the plan. You don't have a plan already? Anyway, let's keep it bumping, man.
So we'll kind of step back this week and then get into.
Let me tell you something, Jerome.
Those evaluations that you're talking about next week, and eventually formulate our plan for this offseason.
Formulate.
I'm not trying to be
no plan right
here,
now,
but just at some point, do you sit with Dennis and Mrs. Benson? Who handles the Mickey Loomis evaluation?
Yeah, who's your boss?
I don't know, Mrs. Benson, I guess.
That's not a.
Nah, Mike Hoss. That was a great question by Mike in a very comical way. Who handles the Mickey Loomis evaluation? And see, Mickey, that's a great question, because that speaks to the point that who's evaluating you? If you failing, you don't have a point. How do you not have an off-season plan and your team is out of the playoffs? Shouldn't you have been working on a plan 2 weeks before the season ended at the very least? Why we have to wait a week for you to figure out what you're going to do? You see, and while you plotting and planning, you're behind in the process because you're competing with other 9 playoff teams for whatever resources that's available on the market. So once again, see the vision, see the non-decisiveness, the great antiquated dinosaur plotting movements by the Saints. You heard from the general manager's mouth himself that he don't have a plan and that he has to wait a week because he's emotional. I listen to Carl Thomas. Remember that song, Cue Carl Thomas? Emotional? Well, that's what I am right now. I'm emotional. If you're emotional, we are beyond that, because we are absolutely livid in that nation. I ain't know Mickey Loomis listened to Carl Thomas.
Meeting that happens, kind of like when you sit with Dennis and Jeff and Parrington. I'm not trying to be cute. I was just curious how that worked.
No, who's evaluating you?
Yeah, that's
you
happening constantly. When during the course of a year, I'm visiting with Mrs. Benson daily, so that really happens. Every day during the entire season, the entire year, really. So it's not a formal, let's sit down and give you a review like you might ordinarily have with some companies. So that's a little different. And
really, but it's something that you deal with every year. It's kind of a moving target with coaches, because coaches move on of their own volition. They get better jobs, and this organization's always been in support of administrative people, Fontenot, and guys like Aaron Glenn, who might have a chance at a head coaching job. So there's going to be some moving targets as you look at your coaching staff, keeping and people moving around.
Yeah, the only certainty in the NFL is that there's going to be change, and there's going to be changes, and some of them are dictated by, a promotion, an opportunity that a coach has, whether that's in the NFL or at the college level, and so those things are going to happen, particularly when you have a good staff, and I believe we have a good staff.
You're 7-10. You were 9-7 last year. Let's look at it not just in terms of this year, but if you're tracking success, it's a multi-year graph here. The Saints have missed the playoffs 2 consecutive years, family. They were 9-7 last year. They went backwards to 7-10. Mickey Loomis them hired the wrong guy, and he needs to be evaluated. If he thinks, not evaluated by Gail Benson, by a doctor, some type of psychiatrist. He need to be evaluated big time. If you think Dennis Allen is anything but a janitor, or a defensive a defensive coordinator. This guy is not a head coach, man. You don't take a super talented team like the Saints that they had and track them backwards to the point where the team's leaders turned into, they were literally walking in a walking malaise. There were no team meetings when the season was teetering on the brink of disaster. There was no team, even when the Saints imploded in the Tampa Bay game. There were no team-only meetings for the leaders or the captains to get together and say, listen, we got to fix this. None of that occurred. I was calling for it during the season. None of it occurred. Why were they under such a malaise of a foolish, hypnotized malaise, believing their own tripe? No, you got to work for it every day, and they just walked right into the iceberg. Straight up. Just walked right into the damn thing. Walked right into it. It was just phenomenal.
And one of the things that we always see every January, and we've already seen it, and you signed 8 reserve futures, 8 players to reserve futures. Guys like quarterback Jake Luton, Nephi Sewell, Lucas Kroll, Derek Gore. There are 8 total. And it might seem somewhat insignificant, but as I was kind of reading more into it, so you're not credited this money that you've signed them. They can't negotiate with other teams. It's credited against your 2023 cap, not your 2022, and the player counts against the off-season 90-man roster, not your kind of roster right now. And you got them for OTAs and training camp, and I think we've all seen and lived how important that the practice squads and these kind of players have been, right?
Yeah, I think the important thing here, the notable thing is that, look, these are guys that we're familiar with, that we like their prospects going forward. We've seen enough to say, hey, these guys can potentially help us in the coming season or seasons, and so that there'll be more of them as well. So there's no guarantees about in terms of their roster spots or anything like that, but these are guys that we like. We like what we've seen so far, and we want to keep them and develop and work with them.
I don't know how much or if you've even talked to Sean, but certainly this whole Sean Payton job is going to play a physical role in the decision that you guys make, and obviously the sooner the better. But how do you go in kind of assuming? I assume he's going to get a job. I assume you're going to have a first-round pick. How do you guys do it?
Yeah, I don't think we make any assumptions. That's ultimately up to the to Sean and the other teams. And yes, we're in a position where we're going to get compensation, and what that is and what it looks like remains to be seen. So, but we're not, we don't go in there, planning on having, any particular thing at this point.
But the other teams, because he's under contract, do have to ask you first, right?
Yeah, they do. They have to have, they have to have our permission, A, to speak with him, and B, there has to be an agreement on the compensation in order to hire him.
Your thoughts on the play of your 2 first-rounders? Olave became your 3rd rookie to have over 1,000, but I think if he were sitting here, he would, he would say, the fumbles and maybe the drop balls. He's a talented rookie who will understand that he's got some room to grow, right?
Yeah, he's one thing about Chris is that, he had a lot of professional qualities about him when he got here, the way he works and the way he approaches his craft, and yet there's lots of room for improvement. But we're excited about his season. It's a little bit unfair to him when you lose, a Mike Thomas on the other side, and you're expecting to have that player, attracting a lot of the attention, and then that doesn't happen, and the focus goes back to Chris. And so, but I thought he performed well, and really encouraged with the year that he's had. Trevor, I would say similar, and yet, man, that injury was unfortunate at the beginning of the season, because that, caused him to miss a lot of games. We did, getting back toward the end of the year, and thought that he did some really good things, and I felt like, his start against Carolina, man, we saw some really, really positive things. I'm excited about him as a prospect going forward. Unfortunate that he had the Liz Frank, but he'll come back from that. And I'm excited about having both those players for the Saints going forward.
All right, let me pause it right there right quick and just address a few things, just to let the family members know we are reviewing the Mickey Loomis interview that was did with Mike Hoss the other day. I think it was yesterday when they did the interview. We reviewing it right now. So 170 plus of us in the building. Please feel free to hit the like button. Yeah, I know a lot of the Who Dats probably didn't hear this, and this is the general manager trying to let us know, holding us for a week before he officially comes out and addresses the media. Next week, I think sometimes, according to this interview with Mickey Loomis, is dropping. And of course, we are very proud of Chris Olave. He definitely has room for improvement. He done had several drops during the season, and he's a rookie, so you allot him a certain amount of failures and letdowns. But overall, he's a very talented receiver that has room to grow. I don't see him as a number one quite yet, but he is trending in that direction. He's fantastic. Trevor Penning is another guy. I always say Pinion for whatever reason, but Penning is a guy that should have played earlier. Once he became healthy and they activated him for whatever reason, the Saints were using him in jumbo packages as opposed to running him out there. I mean, you might as well throw him out there, see what he can do. And ultimately, when they gave him his first start on the Carolina game, he got, hurt there. And they're anticipating that he'll be back, and ready for training camp, hopefully. So would have liked to see a lot of him and a lot about undrafted guys. Now, about the Sean Payton thing, a lot of people are saying don't expect a huge haul for Sean Payton. That's a bunch of BS. If there are teams out there that's going to want Sean Payton, you get at least 4 picks for him. You're going to get 2 firsts, see if you can get 2 seconds. And you don't tell me that you can't get 2 firsts and 2 seconds for Sean Payton. When, 7-8 years ago, they got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and $8 million in cash for John Gruden, who ain't even have a Super Bowl then. He didn't get the Super Bowl to the next year. Well, when he got traded to Tampa Bay, he got it on Tony Dungy's team. So you can't tell me that they don't have at least 2 teams that'll be saying, listen, I give you an extra pick for Sean Payton. No, you're going to get picks for Payton. So, yeah, I'm anticipating at least 4 picks for Sean Payton. You use that and you send them to the team where you could get the most value. I asked the Who Dat Nation this question. Do you think that this same guy, this guy that loves Sean Payton so much, do the Saints do the business thing and send Sean Payton to a team with good draft capital like Arizona? We're on the 3rd. I forget which picks, y'all correct me in the chat, whether it's the 3rd or the 4th overall pick that they have. That would seem like a good fit to send him there, and you collect 2 firsts from this year and next year, a second from this year and next year, and then perhaps a 4th round pick or whatever the case may be. You get at least 4 picks, high round picks for Sean Payton, traded him, gets him to that team. Or do the Saints send him to a team like the Denver Broncos, who pick is a lot further back in the draft? Do they do what's best for the organization, or do they do what's best for Sean Payton? They worship Sean Payton. They hired the coach that Sean Payton said they should have hired. That's how you ended up with Dennis Allen over all the rest of these coaches. Saints interviewed Dougie Peterson. They interviewed several other coaches, Eric Bieniemy, for 8 hours, and then turn around and hire Sean Payton's guy, who Sean Payton indeed picked, his hand-picked successor. So do the Saints break away from that and send this guy to a place where the Saints get the best capital to start all over again? You see what I'm saying? Or do they do a move that helps Payton as opposed to helping the Saints? You get what I'm saying? So that's something that I ask. Let's get back. The
Saints Hour will continue after this break. We'll return with Saints executive who, because of injuries to Marshawn Lattimore, was forced into action, and he got to grow more than probably he anticipated. But now you have this secondary of cornerbacks with Marshawn, who came back. Boy, he made his impact right away with a pick six. Paulson Adebo, the 2021 pick. I mean, 3 really solid cover corners. You got to feel good at least in that area.
Yeah, I think, if you look at our team, that's probably, if not the strongest position, and I mean the defensive back room in general, because Tyron played well. Marcus May is a good player. When he was able to play, he performed well. The 3 corners you mentioned, I thought Bradley Roby had a good season for us, particularly the last 6 games or so, and so that's a strength of our team. And excited about that group.
So I want to finish with just kind of talking about the difficult position that kind of faces not just your team and every team as they kind of move forward. As you look at your unrestricted free agents, and I'm going to talk about like 2 sides of a coin. I'm going to use an example in the first, but not the second. But I'm curious. So you've got Caden Ellis, 7th round draft pick. He's an unrestricted free agent. He's growing just like you want him to grow for the first 3 years, and he comes out and bam, year 4, gets a lot more playing time, some injuries, but he gets a lot more playing time and has this phenomenal year. So now, and it's just a fact of the league, you've got a 7th rounder who comes out and now all of a sudden his market value is X, and you've got to decide, do you keep? What's his value? Is it affordable? I mean, it becomes a very tough decision. That's one side of the coin. Caden, I'm not talking about Caden himself, but just players in that position where you've got to make that kind of decision.
Yeah, look, that happens every year, Mike. To be honest with you, it's and you have to make choices based upon your roster, based upon your resources. We've had those in the past. Marcus Williams is a good example of that. There's been several others over the years that guys that were good players for us, and you try to keep them, and if you can make a deal that fits with your roster and your salary cap, then you do it, and if you don't, sometimes you lose them. It just happens, and it's good for players. Listen, I don't begrudge any player from trying to maximize his value and maximize his earning potential. That's part of what we're here for. We are here to help these guys maximize their earning power, but sometimes you lose them because of it.
Now, the other side of that coin, the flip side is there are unrestricted free agents who come in with big price tags. And now you've got this decision, do we resign, keep? It's a value question again, as always, but then there's the consideration of dead cap money, because no matter what, that dead cap money is real. So that's the flip side of the coin, and another bunch of tough decisions.
Yeah, look, it's roster building is like a 3D puzzle. It's complicated, and there are things that seem pretty simple on the surface, and yet there's these underlying variables that make it more complicated, and we'll have that challenge for us again this off season, but I'm confident that we can do it in a good way that'll help us improve and flip this record around.
Saints facing a $40 million situation. The reality is, I mean, a lot of people's like you, there's $45 million cap situation with New Orleans. Does that really shake your faith in what Mickey Loomis or Kai Harley? These guys kick the can down the road. They open up phantom contracts and deals, or 9 playable years in contracts where they kick the money down for 4 years in some of these contracts. So the Saints are able to maneuver themselves well. Now, of course, the question about Caden Ellis. Caden Ellis definitely he earned a contract. So did Juwan Johnson. Those are 2 guys in particular that the Saints should look to bring back. They groomed those guys. Caden was a 7th-round draft selection, stayed with the team, finally showed up, played well for us this year, played out of his mind. Something clicked in his head, and he just went to work. When you look at the other player like Juwan Johnson, he went from being a wide receiver, a converted wide receiver, to tight end, and then took the starting job from Adam Troutman, who was supposed to be that guy. So, I mean, guys like that, you want to make sure you bring them back. is at times you do lose some guys, like the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade looks like one of those things where the Saints didn't really get anything for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They just couldn't come up and give him $4 million. And I think $4 million is not that much money for what he wanted. If you were looking at it in the mind frame that we're not going to pay a nickel back that kind of money. Well, remember, they must have forgot the original plan was to move Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to safety once Malcolm Jenkins retired. So that was the plan. And if you had duality there where you would have him, he'd be able to play some nickel and safety, then he was worth the money. Then he gets traded to Philly for peanuts, basically. And he was the top, had more interceptions in the NFL. So that's like a punch in the face for the Who Dat Nation that got really nothing for him and lost him over $4 million. So, I can say that Chauncey didn't handle it the correct way, but $4 million in the grand scheme of things in an NFL team, which don't pay any taxes, and we give them all of this high money, we getting gouged for concessions and all this, that's nothing for them people to kick out to a safety that you groomed here. So in the end, we end up with Lante Taylor. So I can understand it works, but sometimes it's the teams not having the vision to see what roles these players play.
Senior Bowl is kind of the next gathering, so to speak, for your group, so in that realm.
Yeah, we have the East-West games coming up. There's a number of these college all-star games. You mentioned the Senior Bowl, and then right after that, a few weeks after that, is the Combine. So we're going to get right into the off season here pretty quickly.
Well, Mickey, as we started the show, it's not what you wanted, not the goals you set, not the standard that's been set, but we appreciate your time and best of luck. Have a great off season, and I can't balance my checkbook. So what Kai Harley does, I can't even fathom. But best of luck.
Yep, thank you, Mike.
Saints Executive Vice President and General Manager Mickey Loomis, looking to the future, of course. When we come back.
All right, so that's Mickey Loomis. That's the interview right there, family, and as you can hear, Mickey Loomis, talking about some things is very interesting, going into the season. The fact that, doing a brief recap, that's the entire interview, that the fact that Mickey Loomis, they don't have a plan right now, that we have to figure out a plan of what to do. You're 7-10. That should have been done when you seen the Carolina game, like the back end, once the season was over with. You have really leading up to that, what we need to do. I mean, the Who Dats know exactly what's up with this team because they know their team. They look at the team. They know what time it is. They know where the team is weak at, and really, truly, if we believe in a winning culture here in the Who Dat Nation, which we do, Dennis Allen shouldn't have survived. He shouldn't have survived Black Monday. But the Saints don't want to smoke. Mickey don't want to smoke. That's why he's going to hide a week and then come and talk to the Who Dat Nation a week later, as his words were, to let the emotion dissipate. He's not emotional. You don't sound emotional in an interview. He talking about you. You don't realize a week don't help him. He should have said a month. He should have said a damn month. That's what he should have said. But that is most troubling to me, family. Seriously, that's most troubling for me, for the general manager of the New Orleans Saints to tell you that he didn't give any confirmation on whether or not Dennis Allen is staying, right? There's no confirmation on that. The fact that they're going to wait a week to address you about the future of the team when the future's now. What was the plan? So in my head, I'm like, dude, this is not how it's supposed to go. This is not how it's supposed to go, because you're behind the time frame on other 9 playoff teams who might be looking for resources to build the team to make them better. And I'm talking about setting up interviews with different people and all this kind of stuff. The longer you wait, the lesser you're able to get some of the talent that could come on to help the team in the offensive rooms as the assistant coaches or in the defensive room of some of these defensive coaches. So you would do well, and it will serve you well to get, that early worm, early morning thing, the early worm, the early bird gets the worm type of thing. And the Saints the last of the party. So this slowful, dinosaurish behavior by the New Orleans Saints is most troublesome. So we got a coach that's as a non-motivator, non-accountable, non-communicative type dude who's a backstabber, who has a history of backstabbing players. And of all the people, he backstabs the quarterback who's a captain. Out of all people, and And you got this type of dude sitting on top of the team. A lot of offense people obviously don't trust him. They don't want to play for him. Because you don't tell me that if a team love a coach, that they wouldn't go out and get that Carolina game. They would go and get that game for him. Just like the Tampa Bay Buccaneer game. That's what we lost it on. If we beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we don't need no help. We keep doing what we're doing. But this is the mess that is here. And I'm looking at them saying, man, Sean Payton made these guys look a lot better than what they are. And that's why I'm advocating for a guy like Mickey Loomis to be pushed out of the way. Mickey Loomis needs to go. Let him create another position for Mickey Loomis higher up in the organization. Make him be the overseer of the office closets or something like that. You know, the overseer of the washroom clerks. The overseer of the parking attendants. The overseer of the Mercedes-Benz cleaners. You know, whatever you got to do, create a position for him that has nothing to do with football and move Kai Harley into that position so that he can become the general manager, because we need a guy with a vision, somebody that's going to be decisive and activate right now. The team needs help right now. We need answers right now. Why are you waiting a week? You should have had a plan at the end of the year. There should have been a season-ending press conference this past Monday. Why are you waiting a week with emotions? This is a business. You don't have no time for no emotions. This is a damn business. This is a business. You don't have no emotion. The only person that does deserve to have emotion is you, the Who Dat Nation, because you're spending your hard-earned money on the New Orleans Saints, and they making you look bad. So if anybody has the right to be upset about this team, it ain't Mickey Loomis, who put the damn team together and didn't hold Dennis Allen accountable when he had the chance to, when fans was yelling at him or people was yelling at him in the games at Tampa Bay. Oh, Mickey, he killing the city, Mickey. Remember I played that? Oh, he's killing the city, Mickey. He gonna go for such and such on the third down. Mickey Loomis heard all that. He don't want that smoke. And then you don't think the Who Dats know that the Saints holding on to Dennis Allen because they don't want to spend money to get rid of him to break his contract, because it costs money to break his contract, whatever it is, because they still ain't tell you exactly what it is. Remember that. The year has come and gone. We already in the offseason for 2023 going into 2024, and you still don't know exactly what Dennis Allen's contract is. I miss me with, I've estimated at 4 years. How much is the contract worth? Well, let's estimate and guesstimate. It's got to be between 3 to 5 million. Miss me with all of that hyperbole and that weatherman commentary. I want to know exactly what it is. I want to know, and that's the great thing about mathematics, is that you can get exact figures. How about that? And not a bunch of gobbledygook about what people think it is according to averages. You don't know what the Saints paying this man. Well, it got to be something if they won't tell you what it is. You ever thought about that for a second? How we got this guy here, we don't even know exactly what the contract is and how much it is. It's not official. They have not officially released it. So the Saints will have to break his agreement, pay him off, fire him, and then go into the hiring cycle, which they simply don't want to do, and go hire and go look at other coaches because they lazy. They've been, for the last 16 years, they had the same coach, and then when the year came around, they sitting up here interviewing people that they don't want to do it in back-to-back years. Well, you have to do it if you made a bad hire. You think people going to ride with you on this coach, and it'd be different if he was an up-and-coming coach, or even, even if, let's say, for instance, he was Cliff Kingsbury, operating. I can give Cliff Kingsbury a little room here. He's a young coach who does have the ability to electrify with offenses and stuff like that. I would give him a little leverage here. But you're looking at a guy that is not, to me, going to get any better than what he actually is. I'm sorry, he isn't. And listen, remember this, and y'all know this all too well, that the head coach, the team mimics the motions and the mentality of its head coach. You get what I'm saying? That's across the spectrum. Look how Mike Tomlin's teams react. They're tough, they're resilient, and they don't give up. They're smart. Why? Because he's tough, he's resilient, and he's not a quitter. You get me? That's what they mimic the attributes of the head coach. And you got a guy like Dennis Allen. What is his top attributes? You see what the Saints are doing. They are literally the physical embodiment of what Dennis Allen is. A loser. And that's what we are. All right, Rush Hour says Mickey should have put DA in his place earlier this season when Jameis was able to play, instead of letting him stay benched Mickey should have stepped in. I agree, Rashal. I've been saying that, bro. Seems like me, you, and several other families members from the Great Saint Think Tank are the ones that's bringing these questions forward. It's like, where was Mickey Loomis? Because they'll say about Jameis and what Dennis Allen did to Jameis. Yeah, but Dennis Allen's not the boss. It's Mickey Loomis. Why didn't Mickey Loomis step in there and fix that situation before it got bad? Where was Mickey Loomis in the Jameis Winston and Dennis Allen situation? That's the question that I asked them. And if any of these reporter types have it, please write an article on it. Please send it to my email and let me know the answer, the PROMedianetwork@gmail.com. Send me the information. Send me and let me know why Dennis Allen didn't Mickey Loomis didn't step in on Dennis Allen and say, you can't do this to Jameis Winston. He a $20 million quarterback. I can't let you do that. You're violating a fundamental football principle, is that a player, it can't lose his job due to injury. That's a cardinal thing. So obviously, if he violates principles like that, then he'll violate anything. That's why people don't respect Dennis Allen. That's why Dennis Allen's teams don't play for him. They ain't going to play for somebody that's not worth it. Come on. Look what Steve Wilkes' team did. They fought for Steve Wilkes. They're advocating for him to keep his job. How many people you know from the Who Dat Nation advocating for Dennis Allen to keep his job? I think Dennis Allen should return. Come on. I'm keeping it $1.15. You can't come into the Who Dat Nation and have, we are not the Miami Dolphins. We're not the Houston Texans. We're not the Detroit Lions. We're not none of these other clubs. You can't come into the Who Dat Nation and go 7-10 and expect to earn a second year. It don't work like that. It don't work like that unless the general manager and the ownership at the top saying simply, hey, man, we don't want to break that contract. That's too much money right now. Even and like I told you, before the NFL came out with that memo last month, we covered it here, and I said, man, see, everything I say, I'm always ahead of the curve on them. And I told you that they was going to wait. They wasn't going to come to you with him. He was going to wait next week until you wasn't as upset. I told y'all that. And then this comes out with him saying it before I even knew it. Like the same thing I said about Dennis Allen not playing Jameis Winston for the rest of the season because he's in his doghouse. I said that. I said, you won't see him unless Dalton gets hurt. That's the only time. And what happened? He shut him down for the rest of the year. So all I'm saying is, in the end, is that this team right now, this ain't what it's supposed to be. We supposed to have a plan, not sitting up here trying to formulate a plan a week after the season is over with, and you're 7-10. That's folly there. That's not a vision. That's why I'm advocating for Dennis Allen to be put over the creator, the general manager of cleaning closets, the general manager of organizing sock drawers, the general manager of making sure the light bulbs are not blown out, the general manager of picking up trash around the facility, the general manager of wiping down the goalposts in the practice facility, the general manager of weeding out the grass below the gates around the practice facility. I advocate for Dennis Allen to have all of those things and more. So anyway, we'll see what goes on, what kind of half-baked plan that they come up with at the end of the day. But it just seems to me, man, after watching the Saints for so long and doing this show for so long, that Sean Payton really made people look a lot better than they actually are. Two people in particular, Mickey Loomis and Pete Carmichael. Check. He made those guys look a lot better than what they actually are, and even to a degree, Dennis Allen. Really, because Dennis Allen's defense can't stop anybody. They were rushed on at the tune of 132 yards per game. This team was a top 5, top 10 defense against the run just last year. And so in the end, now that we're in the offseason, we'll have an opportunity to see exactly where the Saints' plan is. So unfortunately, we can't know this week. But I played this interview for the Who Dat Nation so that you guys at least hear that they don't have a plan, number one. Number two, he don't want to face you right now because he's scared about the smoke that you're going to give him. And number three, that, we'll see, fam. Dennis Allen is staying because Dennis Allen is definitely, he made it past Black Monday, and it's going into Thursday. So Dennis Allen is definitely here to stay, and we knew that. We knew that, and you know what you got to do. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. So with that being said, listen, man, I'm going to tune out on that. Listen, I'll be back later on the Pelican post-game report. That's our Pelicans feed. If you guys are Pelicans people, feel free to check us out on the Pelican post-game report. You know, we'll be popping over there doing our thing, and we'll be recapping the Pelicans matchup against the Boston Celtics, who are currently the Pels are up 17-15 in Boston. So, you know, that'll be cool if they can get a win against that squad there. You know, CJ and Najee, those guys are going to have to step up. I see Dyson Daniels is in there. So with that being said, before you guys leave, do me a service, hit the like button. I like to thank all of our super chatters too. Thank our super chatters, and thank our new members that hit the join button to join the platform. Thank you guys as well. Also appreciate all our Facebook family members watching us on Facebook, and thank you guys as well. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button as well. We're only a couple, I don't know how many people off of hitting the 10,000 subscriber mark, which is, I'm really proud of that. A lot of hard work went into doing that with multiple platforms. So we're just proud of that. And also feel free to check out the description section below for the Fire DA merch. It's still available for the women, for the men, coffee mugs. It's not just shirts, it's merch. With Dennis Allen merch, you can wear it in style as you know he's coming back. Load up right now. You can see it's right above my head. It comes in several different colors, and check out it. It helps out the platform as well. And you can send a message to the Who Dat Nation, to everybody around, and to the Saints organization, that you're not cool with this hire because this guy is a substandard coach. He's not He's not a standard level Saints coach. Maybe he'll work in Houston. Send him to the Texans. He'll work there. But we are winners here, and this guy is an incomplete coach, to put it lightly. Lady T said, Q, I be riding on them hard, man. Nobody ride on these people harder than I do. Nobody don't blast these folks harder than I do, because I'm real, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm, Lady T, shout out to you, Queen. Lady T said, Q. I meant to comment, I've been doing so much, man. But yeah, I'm gonna try to cool it down a little bit. It's in the off season right now, man. So I'm gonna cool it down a little bit, man. Every now and again, I'm gonna get up and start ranting, but I'm gonna try to cool it down a little bit. All right, so with that being said, fam, let me get out on that, man. I appreciate y'all so much for spending time with me, man. It's always cool to talk to you guys, man. Much love to the entire fam, man. Keep y'all heads up, man. We're gonna ride together on this, and we're gonna find the answer to all this, man. And we're gonna be all right. All right, with that being said, I'm gonna holler at y'all on the flip side. Who that to you? And I'm out.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. Check out the That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section